What's up, YouTube? I just downed a glass of wine that's been sitting out since last night, and I feel great. This is my 25 favorite songs of 2025. Number 25 is Girl Feels Good by FKA Twigs. This is a song about how magnetic it is when women experience pleasure, which I am all for in a critical capacity, right? It's got, dark synthesizer kind of running back and forth. It's got distortion on FK Twigs vocals until they come through to a point of clarity, you know? It's slightly poetic, but also feels like a Saturday night at the club, which is really what we all go to FK Twigs for. So, banger. Anyway, 24 is Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party by Hayley Williams. I feel like Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party really captures the unique experience of being a washed up pop punk front woman, which is probably something that actually belongs to two people ever. Like only two people ever have ever had this experience, but it feels really real when you listen to it. Hayley Williams has a really, forgive my Netflix speak, irreverent delivery on this song that really works. The melody is catchy, the hook is great. The beginning with the keys jangling is quite evocative. You really feel like you're going somewhere with this one. I like the backing instrumentation as well. Very low key. Of all of the Hayley Williams singles this year, this is the one that stuck with me. I recommend. Number 23 is This Is the Killer Speaking by The Last Dinner Party. This song has a bit of a theatrical but organic flair to it, where you feel like you're watching the best actor in a production of a really melodramatic play, just giving it their absolute all. Um, I love all of the many crescendos in this song, the really over the top performance from the lead vocalist of The Last Dinner Party. All right. Number 22 is Second Sleep by Magdalena Bay. This one is a really adult contemporary kind of throwback, but with very modern production. It's got a kind of. I almost feel like I'm in Chicago when I'm listening to it for some reason. I really don't know why, but it's got a really Chicago energy to me. Never been to Chicago, for the record. It's a song about going to sleep again after you've already been to sleep. Maybe at someone else's house. You had a few too many drinks, you fell asleep on the couch. Now you're walking home, you're going to go home, have another sleep, and it's going to be a better one because you won't have your crusty makeup on and everything. It's kind of a song about that kind of quintessential experience, but it's elevated. And for some reason, they're singing about men going to war as well, which I'm like, go off, guys. I'm not digging into that one right now. Number 21 is Freak It by Kim Petras, which is a song about freaking it because you've got no job. It's about freaking it until you don't know why you're freaking anymore, but you just keep freaking. And I really relate. I really relate to that. I think Kim Petras is she's increased in quality a lot, I think, in the last year, her music. She's bringing back a kind of early 2010s pop club sensibility, but with more edge to it. The electronic elements of this song are kind of crushing, driving. She kind of melds with them on the bridge in this shouted melody. It's really I really get hyped up. Okay, this one's been on the running playlist since it came out. Number 20 is Hallways by Pup, which is a breakup song that feels quite mature while being extremely despondent at the same time. The frontman from Pup has a really unique delivery. He's shouting but also singing. He carries the melody really well, but it's also quite a sing along feeling. You know, you're like, oh yeah, I could join in. Like if I was there in the studio when they were doing this, like I could have joined in and I would have just melded. We would have all become like one pot of rage and sadness. I really respect a good cathartic breakup anthem, and I think Hallways is that, while also being like low key enough that, you know, it feels like a private moment, but also public. Can you tell that I'm not a professional music critic? I'm just somebody who's 21 and has opinions. Yeah, no, I also think that I'm pretty cool. Number 19 is Man I Need by Olivia Dean. It's very warm, very kind of old soul music, but it does sound like very cleanly produced, as in 2025. It's quite earnest, you know, Olivia Dean coming forth and being like, oh yeah, like let's, you know, you put yourself out there, I'll put myself out there, maybe we can make something come of this. It's a real like toe tapper at the cafe. You know, you're sitting at the cafe, you hear this come on, and you're like tapping your feet and you're smiling. That's the vibe to me. Um, Number 18 is Green Friend by VGTP VGTBLPL. And if you struggle to spell that out, like I do, just remember it's vegetable, but without the vowels. Um, this is a Polish song because I actually, ever since early 2025, I've been big on Polish people. I'm like so on to the Polish shit now. Um, and I encourage everyone to also get on the Polish shit. Now, I had to ask r/ask Poland what Green Friend was about because I didn't know. And I didn't want to put it on a list without knowing what it was about. It's obviously it's very catchy, it's bouncy, it's like internet pop stuff. And like I just honestly couldn't get it out of my head since I heard it. But it's also funny, the lyrics. It's about houseplants and how fun it is to have houseplants and how cute they are, giving them different names. They're waiting for you when you get home. It was very idiosyncratic, very sweet in a way that I wasn't expecting. So it's on the list pretty high. Number 17 is The Subway by Chappell Rowan. This song is a classic heart render, you know, very relatable as well. You see your ex on the train and you're like, maybe I should move to Saskatchewan. Like, who hasn't felt that way, right? It's really elevated by the outro where she's doing the vocal runs. She got away, she's got away. It feels like a song that's existed forever, but also could only have come out in 2026 from Chappell Rowan. Yeah, banger, not really, but crier for sure. Number 16 is Music by Underscores. I was late on Underscores, I will admit. I listened to Wall Socket in a situation that I will not explain, but let's just say the situation was bad enough that I didn't want to listen to it again, right? So I only heard it once, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just get on next time. So now I'm on the Underscores train, and wow, what an eclectic bop, I would say, that music is. It's like got a kind of hammering beat, like a really fun drop, lyrics that are like just kind of in the frame of pop reference. Like a song about something that a lot of songs are about. Like, oh, you're so amazing and our connection is so intense that you remind me of a song. But instead of going down a lot of the normal routes that those kind of songs go down in the lyrical department, they say some stuff that's a little quirked up, right? It's like, you know, I had a wet dream about the perfect song. which is just like a little bit nerdy in a way that makes it feel unique as opposed to some of the other songs about people being songs, you know? Anyway, number 15 is Bust Down by Joey Valence and Bray and Tia Kareen. If I mispronounced anything, sorry about it. I did like the Joey Valence and Bray album this year. I know that a lot of people thought it was a kind of a step down from their previous albums. I didn't listen to those previous albums, so I kind of don't really have a horse in that race. I thought the album was good in and of itself. And this is just like a throwback banger about busting it down. And there's a fun verse from Tia Kareen on it. There's some absolutely great, some of the best, like, funniest rap lines of the year are on this song. I'm pretty sure this is the one where he says, one of the guys, I forget which one it is, you know, I'm amazing and half Asian. I'm so good you can say I'm Asian or whatever, which is just like a level of corniness, but also like I wasn't expecting it. And so it kind of made me cackle the first time I heard it. And I've just been chasing that high all year. So, Bust Down, number 15. Number 14 is Man Get Out by Wet Leg. I know a lot of people didn't hear the song until it was on the soundtrack for Heated Rivalry, but I heard it before that because I'm just like better or something. It's a kind of kiss off song, like very, very like old fashioned. We've been doing this since the beginning of pop music, kiss offs to men who are annoying. But I think Wet Leg nails the kind of exhaustion, but also like self aggrandizing way that actually feels in real life, to try to like kiss off a guy you're not interested in and be like, oh yeah, get out, get out, get out. It's got a nice, you know, guitar pattern introduction that just carries on throughout the song. Kind of summary. It doesn't feel heavy, but I think it also doesn't shy away from how subtly uncomfortable that situation is. So I just thought it was good. Wow, I feel like I'm out of breath. That's kind of embarrassing. More wine from last night. Anyway, number 13 is S is 4 by Sextile. I got into Electroclash this year, which Sextile is. S is 4 is a kind of innovative Electroclash banger where they're just saying words that start with S, but kind of stringing them together in a way that kind of implies almost punk meaning. Like, it feels really, for some reason, this album feels really punk to me, even though it's not a punk album in any way whatsoever. There's just an air about it, a kind of angry-ish counterculture quality that makes it into songs like S is 4 that you can have on your running playlist, which is where I've had it. But also, you know, you listen to the lyrics and you're like, oh, haha, you know, a kind of pseudo-feminist reclamation of different kind of rude words that are all kind of brought together in a way that feels fun and slightly antagonistic. If that was word salad, my bad. Number 12 is Everybody Scream by Florence and the Machine. It's, I imagine it's the song that she's going to start a lot of her shows with, and you can really feel it, that kind of ragged, organic energy where she's kind of calling the crowd to join in the atmosphere of the show. It's very Halloween. I really liked how Halloween-y the new Florence and the Machine album is, and this song is kind of the getting in point to me. I did like some of the other songs, but I think Everybody Scream is the one that got to me the most, with the actual wailing, kind of pounding, growing, I apologize for that, kind of energy, okay? The energy is there in this one. Number 11 is Digital Emotional by Kilo Quiche. Digital Emotional has a kind of internet era disaffectedness to it, which is nonetheless quite captivating to me. Like the way that she does these kind of vocal runs throughout, where she is like picking different inflections and then saying these like references to internet culture and digital communication. It's like I would be saying them just randomly throughout the year, especially like Kilo Quiche wants to know. It's, which honestly sounds like a producer tag to me, but I've never heard any of her songs before, so for all I know, it's just one of the lyrics of the song. Yeah, I would say that Digital Emotional does capture a vibe. It is a little bit of a retro throwback, which I am less and less into retro throwbacks as time goes on, but I still have time for it right now, and Digital Emotional is a good example of why they're fun. Number 10 is Fuck Me Eyes by Ethel Cain. Now, originally, I was a little bit sheepish about putting this song on this list, just because I didn't listen to the whole Willoughby Tucker I'll Always Love You album, and I'm not going to, because I thought Preacher's Daughter was difficult to get through for me, and I didn't want to listen to a prequel album for an album I found difficult to get through. That just, you really cannot sell me on that. I don't want lore. I'm fundamentally disinterested in lore for music. Like I don't want paratext. I don't want to have to be looking at Reddit threads to figure out what your album is about. I would like to just listen to it. I would like to just fucking listen to the album. Anyway, that out of the way. Fuck Me Eyes is great. It's what I found Ethel Cain does in a way that a lot of other people don't, bringing together that old feeling of like Americana rockish, but also very electronic and new, which maybe sounds a bit ridiculous, but it's like, the texture of some of those older rock, arena rock bangers where it was like, the summer of 69 or whatever, there was a certain guitar tone on that. And I think for some reason that kind of melody and tone is carried into Fuck Me Eyes in a way that I find really pleasant to listen to. And people are welcome to disagree with me on that, and probably will given how badly I worded it. But I think in Fuck Me Eyes, Ethel Cain does one of the things that she does best, which is capture a certain American sorrow about the way that girls in particular grow up. It's a song that has a lot of empathy in it, but I think it also has a core of detachment and a lens that I think is better than some others. I'm saying all of this in a really opaque way. It's kind of like Twin Peaks to me. Like, it's about a girl who is drinking and partying and kind of Christian, and she's like an American every girl. And everybody wants to save her, but nobody can actually save her. And they don't actually want to save her anyway. Like, that's what Twin Peaks is about, and that's what Fuck Me Eyes is kind of about. But then Fuck Me Eyes kind of, in the bridge, takes on and admits that it's from the perspective of someone who is not actually in that girl's shoes. She's looking in from the outside, and she is jealous. And I think that really colors all of the observations in the song as coming from like a rival. Yeah. I think it's quite perceptive, a nice listen. Recommend it. Number 9 is 27A Pitfield Street by Bass Victim. Now this one's a little bit of a cluttered kind of electronic, whatever genre it's called. I don't know, and I didn't look because I'm actually a loser who doesn't really use Rate Your Music. But it's got kind of spoke song vocals that like go over each other, multi-tracking. Those are the main terms that I know about music, and I'm getting tired of filming. Oh, it's been so long. You guys have no idea. I've tried to do this like 5 times. But anyway, 27A Pitfield Street is a song about a place where people did drugs and had fun and came together as a community, kind of a communal experience of poverty in a way. It does feel like there's an undercurrent to the song about how, it's a small place where people are coming together. Usually they work a lot, but then they play on the side, and this is about them playing. I like the kind of shambling attitude of it, the moments of melody mixed in with the kind of whatever messy background. I think it really captures the vibe of being in a party where people are doing drugs. Number 8 is Victory Lap by Fred Again, Skepta, and Plaque Max, which is just so much of a banger. It's like a banger that eclipses every other banger that came out in the past year. Just kidding, there's some more to come. It's got a non-credited feature of Doechii that was from Swamp Bitches, which was another song that came out like 2 years ago or whatever. But the Doechii bit is the catchiest part of the song, and then the rest of the song kind of feels like it's built up around that. Like the beat is really like almost foreboding, kind of motivating the entire rest of the song. Like I think if Skepta had just tried to throw a verse on here without Fred Again, it wouldn't have worked. But I think, Fred Again brings his unique Fred Again sensibilities that allow him to turn otherwise boring rap verses into something that you want to listen to on the treadmill, which is just... I apologize for how much of this list is dominated by songs that I played on the treadmill. But, if you were on the treadmill, you would understand how important it is to have good songs on there. Number 7 is 2004 by YG, Buddy, and the Gang, which is a really tragic song about being an adult and reckoning with childhood sexual abuse. So if that's something that's going to upset you, you probably shouldn't listen to this one. But, not that I'm not claiming to personally have had experienced that, but I know people who have, and I've heard about the kind of questions that necessarily arise from that, like the things that they talk about on this song. It's a difficult listen, I think. Like, this is probably the song on this list that I've listened to the least. But when I do, oh, that was my notebook falling. When I do listen to it, it's like I feel like I'm hearing someone explain an open wound. Yeah. It's like a little, it's quite, yeah, it's a bit of a, if you cry, you cry vibe. But also it does sound nice. Like the beat on it is like a good beat. I think it also does kind of, the way that they're talking about that experience is very unique to whatever the actual rapper went through. It feels quite grounded in, the subtext of, I guess, like sexual violence against Black boys in particular, which is not something that I feel like I can speak on. But, maybe you should just go listen to the song. Anyway, number 6 is SMO by Amaarae. And I really I'm such a huge Amaarae fan. I like the way that she brings in all of her different kind of global influences into the production of her music. It's got, a lot of different textures. She's always big on the textures. Yeah, and SMO stands for Slut Me Out, by the way, if you were wondering. If you were wondering what SMO stood for. Yeah, and it's a song about being like down bad for like a hot girl at a club. And it's got like kind of a running beat to it. I'm doing autistic hand movements. That's how you know I'm almost done. That's how you know I'm about to go psycho on this. Oh, I'm so sorry. Number 5 is When a Good Man Cries by CMAT. Yeah, this one really got to me this year. As someone who's made good men cry. Sorry to anyone who watches this if I made you cry at some point. But I think there's a lot of subtext to this one as well, where it's kind of a traditional-ish country pop song with a very Irish vocalist. And she's singing about how her own self-loathing has led her to hurt her romantic partner, presumably, which I think is a really relatable experience. And it's got when I was talking about like the subtext, I mean, there's almost something I've heard women discuss online, which I have varying levels of relation to, is the way that sometimes anger towards men in general and, ways that you've been treated badly can translate into you occasionally lashing out at men in your life who have not done anything bad. And that's not necessarily something that CMAT says the song is about, or like comes out and says in the song, I'm taking out my general misandry towards you when you don't deserve it. But it does feel like the kind of archetypical woman beaten down by the world realizes that she's hurt like her puppy dog boyfriend or something. And I think that there should be more songs about that, because it's pretty clearly something a lot of people deal with. And it sounds good. Yeah, no, I'm getting really lackluster with these reviews. That's my bad, but if I stop now, I'm not going to do it again. So I just need to power through. Number 4 is Community by JID, Clips, Pusha T, and Malice. Clips being Pusha T and Malice's group that they do together. I did listen in parts to the Clips album. I just couldn't be asked. I listened to the full JID album and I liked it. And Community beat out Chains and Whips for being on this list. I should have said at the beginning, but I'm only including one song per artist. That's why there's no repeats. So if a song has an artist featured on it, I'm not including another song with the featured artist as the main artist even. So I know that's a little bit stringent, but it's how I'm doing it. It feels fair to me. Okay, you can argue if you want, but I won't argue back, because I don't make comments usually. But yeah, Community by JID is a song about how scary and shitty it is to live in, I guess, Section 8 housing, I assume. And I feel like he really gets to some deeper level critiques that I think are occasionally missed, especially by like, let's just say I've heard some white boys talk about how they're jealous of the cultural exports of the quote unquote hood. And maybe they could do to like actually listen to a song like Community and realize that maybe they should shut the fuck up. But it is what it is. And I'm white, obviously, so I feel like maybe I should just leave it be at what I've already said. I think it's a good song. It's a really good song, guys. It's like super good. And JID says he's gonna put a bullet in Bob the fucking Builder on this song. So it had to be number 4. Like, it had to be pretty high on the list. Like, come on. You're gonna threaten Bob the Builder? Honestly, I'm Like, I'm kind of still in awe of that bar. It's lived in my head rent free and will continue to into the rest of my life, I'm sure. Number 3 is Tonight by PinkPantheress, which is just like so catchy, so bubblegum. Like, I think earlier this year I was making soup or something. I put this song on repeat like the entire time I was making soup, and it was just so inspiring. Okay, to listen to Tonight while I was making my soup. Um, Unique experience, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Tonight has, really bouncy. I think I already said that. The lyrics are, not like top tier, I would say, but they do carry the song enough. The way that she's singing about consent in a way that's sexy. I think we do talk about making consent sexy. And unfortunately, a lot of the examples are not as sexy as the people writing the examples seem to think they are. But I think PinkPantheress kind of gets it on Tonight. You know, you want to have sex with me? Come talk to me. Like, she's straight up about it. She's straight up, and it's cute, you know? Like, she gets there, I think. Number 2 is Fuck My Computer by Nina Geraci. Nina Geraci is my artist of the year. She made my album of the year. Fuck My Computer is hilarious. It's a song about fucking your computer. Um, and I think it kind of works on multiple levels, right? Like, initially when I heard it, I was like, oh, this is just a joke song about how connected people are to their computers, and how connected she is to her computer in specific. But then I listened to one of her interviews where she talked about how she thought up the idea for the song while she was um, going to her computer to write music, and her thoughts were moving faster than she could program things on the computer. So she was like, oh, well, how would I be closer to my computer? How would I make these ideas real faster? And the answer is if she was literally inside her computer, fucking her computer. And I think that's like such a fun way of looking at like digital production and digital media, is being like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm basically fucking my computer or whatever. Like, I don't know. There's something really that feels inventive about that, almost like transhumanist in a way. Like a new frontier of science fiction futurist concept. Like, that's something I really liked about the Nina Geraci album, is the way that it kind of brought together nostalgia about past technology and kind of futurist thoughts about the way that we can interact with technology in the future and the relationships that we have with our technology. And it's also just like really well produced. Like, all of the Nina Geraci album is like melody on counter melody, like the kind of switch ups, the build ups, the drops. It's pretty exceptional. It's like something you can't really get bored of, because every time you hear it, you notice like a different element of the mix. So yeah, Fuck My Computer, number 2 song of the year. Number 1, finally at last, this has only taken me like an hour plus or whatever, is Big Deal by Lucy Dacus. And Big Deal by Lucy Dacus is like, if you want to cry and you've been a lesbian at some point, this is the song for you, I think. It's really down tempo, really kind of soft focus. Lucy Dacus has a beautiful voice. She sets the stage with her poetry about the interaction she had where Julian Baker, her now partner, talked about how, they had feelings for each other, but they shouldn't acknowledge it, maybe even beyond acknowledging it the first time. And then she kind of, the song builds up in a slow way to her just saying, if we never talk about this again, her being Lucy Dacus, not Julian Baker, I just want you to understand that you're a big deal. And she just says that repeatedly. And I know how for some music critics this didn't work for them because it was kind of, it didn't really crescendo, it didn't really end in a concrete way. You know, I know people preferred other songs from this album, that Big Deal felt like it didn't go anywhere as a song. And I have a hot take, which is that I feel like that was the point, that it didn't go anywhere. Because basically in this song is Lucy Dacus being like, I am admitting my feelings, but I can't really fully admit my feelings. Like, we can't make this real by actually fully naming it. So what she's saying is all she can say. You're a big deal. And because there's nothing else, she just has to say it again and again and again. And nothing really resolves. It just kind of hangs there in that uncomfortable, tragic yearning for like the rest of the song. I think that it really captures that, the essence of that kind of dynamic. And obviously the rest of the album goes on to explore like what happens next. But Big Deal is the kind of the rock bottom before better things will come. And it's my song of the year. Thanks for watching this video, despite the fact that I've been slowly losing steam like a punctured air balloon for the last 20 minutes. But, yeah. Thanks for watching, and have a great 2026. I'll see you guys next time.